Hi everybody, my name is Olivia Gastaldo and this is my culminating project for English 201 on how I became a more critical reader in a semester. My understanding of the reader response theory was really asking myself the questions, what is the role of the reader and what does it mean to be an active reader? This really came into play when we did the reader response documents throughout the last part of the semester during the Socratic circles. I really applied the reader response theory when I was reading Hills Like White Elephants. The entire story was about a woman getting an abortion and the struggles between the couple, but I took it as a struggle with infertility. Was I wrong, or is the story universal enough to apply to both ideas? I came to the conclusion that it was universal enough to apply to both ideas, and that was really amazing of the author to be able to appeal to two different sides, both so drastically different. This semester, I really worked on improving two reading strategies that I have been working on for the last couple years. The first was looking up words I didn't know. In the past, I have always either just made up definitions in my head using context clues, but now I have changed and I actually look up the definition, and this can totally change the meaning of the story. Also, spending more time looking up the meanings of names because no character is given a name without a reason, and oftentimes the names of characters can come into play when trying to figure out the message. Next, I would look at what an active reader was. I really focused on not using my phone or having any extra distractions while I was reading. I was physically taking notes in the margins and highlighting, but I was also focusing on not doing too much. I would let the book or the text sink in before I was closing it to make sure that I really understood the message and before I would do any responses on it so that I could have time to figure out how the book affected me. Using digital tools this semester was quite possibly my favorite part, specifically reading and the blog. The blog really helped me feel accountable for my reading and allowed me time to process what I had just read instead of just skimming the book or getting through it to get a grade on the assignment. I no longer was using the excuse that I didn't have any time because we had allotted time in class, and I actually found myself reading more outside of class because I was so engrossed in my book. Lastly, it gave me a purpose thinking that others may be reading what I had to write about the book, and I found it very interesting to look at the chart on Blogger that showed you how many people were reading your page and from where in the country they were. My biggest challenge this semester was being open to other people's ideas, how to respectfully disagree, and also how to play devil's advocate without sounding annoying. I really like to participate in class, but I also understand that it is important to let others share their ideas and being open to stretching my mind that their ideas could be just as valid as mine. I also was able to make a lot of different connections during the semester, whether it was text to text to myself, or text to different classes. I felt myself being a more critical learner in my intro to media class, whether it was deciphering different words or how I was analyzing a text. I also found connections between stories such as The Lottery, which we read in class, and The Giver, which I have read in the past. I also learned how to make connections with something that I couldn't really relate to, such as in stories like The Worn Path. I could really feel empathy for the woman who was in the story, yet I have never experienced the kind of determination and hard work that she had to put in just to get something so small. My aha moment was seemingly very simple, but it really made me a more open learner this semester. Give yourself time. I would always plan out time to read and reread, spending time looking up the definitions of words that I didn't know, and allowing myself space to think about how the story affected me, and not just how it affected me, but also what the takeaways were that the author wanted me to have. My most memorable moment this semester was definitely the picture extra credit for the poem during the midterm. I was able to connect this to other works that we were doing, such as the Vietnam War Wiki, and how I described the colors and the author's view on the war. I saw beyond what was directly in the picture, and when I shared my findings with the professor, I felt physically motivated because of how excited she was for me. Lastly, these are my citations of the images used. Thank you for a great semester and have a fabulous holiday break.